What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I wonder how many times I've said that in my lifetime. Today's video is not gonna be really long. I'm just chatting with you about a couple of life updates, really more so training updates, because a lot of you have been asking about how I'm now transitioning away from CrossFit yet again, going into another growing season, what that looks like for me, how I'm incorporating more boxing. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. I'm definitely more active on Instagram than any other platform, but I've been talking a lot about my training styles, posting a lot of different like workouts of the weeks and things like that. So definitely make sure you're following me on the gram. But in today's video, I'm just gonna walk through that, kind of share with you how I'm implementing more boxing style workouts and also training strength for boxing and like what my goals are going into 2024. So welcome to today's video. Hope you're having a lovely Monday. Yes. Thank you. And let's just jump on into it. Let's really quickly discuss Wodapalooza, because everyone was asking if we've made Wodapalooza, and we did not make Wodapalooza, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually very surprised. I don't know if the change of structure was just making it more challenging because everyone was doing the exact same workouts. Actually, we were in the top 60, and then literally the day that we submitted for final scoring, we just dropped and dropped and dropped, and everyone was just so good. So, I mean, it's great. Like the competition is really improving, and this is kind of what I was talking about in CrossFit in general. And if you haven't ever seen that video I did on YouTube, it was a bit of a controversial topic, if I do say so myself. People were not like overly thrilled. Like the diehard CrossFit people were kind of displeased with me for that video, but I made a video talking about why CrossFit ruined my mental health. And I stand by that. And you're probably thinking like, Manders, why did you do Wodapalooza qualifiers? And that's a great question, because I got bullied into doing it. I'm kidding, but I definitely did not really want to do the qualifiers, but I will say I surprised myself, and I did far better on them than I thought I was going to, especially with not doing competitive CrossFit programming like as my entire life like I used to. And essentially, you know, I've gotten to this point where I realized that the age of CrossFit, the sport of CrossFit, is just so good, and the athletes are so good that like in order to be really good and be competitive and like win anything, I mean, you really have to be like top of the top. And with that, you have to, most of the time, dedicate your entire life to CrossFit, right? Like you have to train for this, you have to eat, sleep, and breathe CrossFit. And sometimes there's other things that go along with that, and those modalities that I just don't really agree with, and you know, certain things I just don't want to do. That's kind of how I came to the conclusion that I just don't want to attempt to be competitive in CrossFit anymore. And I go through this a lot with my CrossFit training specifically. Sometimes it just wears me down to the point where I feel less like proud of myself when I'm doing CrossFit and more hard on myself. And so whenever you're getting to that point with your training or anything in life, definitely important to take a step back and evaluate, because this is like working out, you know, like it's working out. We shouldn't be beating ourselves up for things in working out. There's a lot more serious problems in the world, okay? You guys know I've taken up boxing. This is now, I think, what, my fourth month, maybe? Third, fourth month? When I met with my now coach initially, he was very like hyping me up about competing. And I think for somebody like me, having a goal to work towards is really helpful when it comes to anything new or any type of routine change, schedule change, anything like that. I went into boxing with really no expectations, just trying out a new sport. And lo and behold, I really like it. So I think that, you know, as I'm entering into this growing phase, I'm going to prioritize boxing and strength training as like my highest priority. And anything underneath that, like running or gymnastics kind of things, that's just going to be as I feel like doing it. Like if I just have a day where I'm like, you know what, I really want to run today, then that will be a day that I run. Otherwise, that's just not going to happen, and we're going to just talk about how that looks like for my week, and I will walk you through my entire week of training. Focusing on strength training this go round, this growing season in comparison to last year's. The biggest difference is that last year I was doing a ton of hypertrophy only, like literally strictly bodybuilding, lots of high volume, high reps, and I didn't focus a ton on lower rep strength and doing a lot of compound moves. Like for me, front squat, back squat, deadlift. I don't really do a ton of bench pressing, if I'm being honest. So chest day is just like not my thing. Shoulder press, barbell shoulder press. I did a lot of bodybuilding machines, things like that, dumbbells. And also, as a side note, if you don't know, I have my own app and I write all of my programming myself. And the 8-week functional fitness program is essentially how I did my like crossover training between like strength training, bodybuilding, and CrossFit. So I'm taking a little bit of that and implementing it moving forward, but just with boxing instead of CrossFit. So the first day of my week, so my first training day on Monday, is always going to be a lower body day for me. And I'm starting with the compound move first. So that might be back squat, deadlift, front squat, whatever that is. And depending on where I am in the week, it's going to be following progressive overload. So let's just say like starting with sets of 5, and then next week it will be sets of 4 at heavier weight, so on and so forth. And then underneath that is going to be my isolation work. So whether that's like single leg work, using machines at the gym, for example, hamstring curls or leg extension, leg press, things like that. It's still going to be bodybuilding with an emphasis on hypertrophy, but that's going to be like the second thing below the strength portion. And a lot of that, like the meat and potatoes of my day, will be focused around bodybuilding still, but I will utilize a lot of circuits. And if you are on my app and you've done any of my workouts, that's the way that I like to do bodybuilding, because I just find like even when I look at a workout that's like 4 sets of 10, 3 sets of 12, blah, 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 I'm like, ugh, I hate it, right? So what I like to do is utilize circuits, still with timed rest, of course, but I'll do, like two different leg exercises back to back, superset them for a couple of rounds, and then throw in some core. So I'm still getting some core work as well. Monday will be all of that. And because I coach the evening classes at Knuckle Up on Mondays now, then I will do my leg session in the morning on Monday, coach the 5:30 class on Monday. After that 5:30 class at 6:30, I will take the, it's kind of like a technique boxing class where the competitors take that and work on drills and footwork and everything like that. Okay, so that's day 1. Day 2 will obviously be upper body because day 1 was lower body. And I like to give myself options because I'm just, like a little variety in my life. And so Tuesday is going to be for me either a back and biceps focused day or a shoulder day. And similarly to how I just explained my leg workout, I'm going to be doing the same exact thing. So if it were back and biceps, maybe some barbell pendulum rows would be my main like compound lift, followed by like single arm dumbbell rows, lat pull down machines, seated rows, biceps, things like that. That day there will be no boxing because then I'm going to box on the next training day. Wednesday, this is kind of new for me because normally in CrossFit and everything that I've done for years prior, I would train 3 days and take off Thursday, train Friday, Saturday, and take off Sunday. Sunday is still my favorite day to use as a rest day, and I still will be doing that moving forward, but I am switching Wednesday and Thursday training. So Wednesday for me will be an off day, but I still will coach the 5:30 class at Knuckle Up, and then at 6:30 there'll be another technique boxing class, which I don't really consider that a workout. It's more like moving your feet and doing things like that. So I'm still going to consider it a rest day. If by some reason it's an insane workout that day, then I'll obviously rest the following day. But for the most part, it's usually technique day. So that will be my second day of boxing of the week. Day 3 or Thursday for me is going to essentially mirror day 1. So another lower body day, except for instead of focusing on quads like I do on day 1, I'll be focusing on glutes and hamstrings for this day. So that compound lift might be deadlift or front squat. And then for those like accessory movements, there's like hamstring curls, RDLs, rear foot elevated split squats, Bulgarian split squats, they suck so bad. Things like that, and hip bridges, all kinds of things. Still heavy on the hypertrophy, but I am making sure to keep in those like lower rep counts at the beginning for the compound movement, whatever that is. So I'm still following a progressive overload, focusing on strength as my number 1 priority. Then Day 4 will be whatever day I didn't do on day 2. So when I was talking about Tuesday being either back and biceps or shoulders, Friday will be whatever I didn't do on that day. And I'm not going to box on this day because I'm going to give myself 1 day of recovery in between boxing, because then Saturday, which will be day 5 for me, will be my longest boxing session of the week, which will be a one-on-one session, a lot of bag work, mitt work. And let me tell you something, like the hour and a half to 2 hours of boxing is intense. I'm very happy that I have a CrossFit background, because if I didn't, I think it would be so brutal for me. So that is why I'm gonna not do the Friday class, just give myself a little bit of rest, especially, let me just throw this out there for you. If you are trying to grow muscle, change your physique in any way, shape, or form, you absolutely have to rest. Like CrossFit training and high intensity interval training and all that kind of stuff is great, but doing it in over consumption can definitely hinder your strength and muscle growing progress. And that is why last year I took off the entire 6 months of CrossFit to just focus on growing my legs, growing my glutes, doing all of that hypertrophy work. That is how my week will be structured, a 5-day training split with 2 rest days. I'm gonna try to still continue to get like 10,000, 12,000 steps a day, just because I'm not gonna be doing any additional cardio. And that will be the remainder of 2023. So what is my goal for 2024? January 1st, 2024 starts fight camp, and I am terrified. I am scared. I don't know if this is gonna be like a crazy intense boot camp style, like what we're doing. But my goal would hopefully be to be able to start sparring at Knuckle Up by like the end of 2024. I think like a full year of training under my belt would be ideal for me to feel comfortable enough to spar with other females. And then once I'm doing that for like a solid year, then I have a future goal to compete here locally. So I think that's just something that is going to keep me going forward and keep me entertained and having something to look forward to, because with leaving CrossFit, I definitely feel like I'm going to miss that competitive aspect. And so I think doing this with boxing is going to kind of fill that gap for me. So I'm really excited about it, but I'm also really nervous. So I don't know. I'm excited nervous though. It's a good nervous. So I'm really hoping that fight camp doesn't kill me and it doesn't change my mind about fighting. But I think it's just, I want to be able to challenge myself, especially because I'm turning 30 this month and I am having like kind of a 30-year-old life crisis. So I don't know, we're gonna see. So that's pretty much it. That's my training schedule, my goals. Let me know if I missed anything. I was just rambling. I had no plan for this video. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'm excited to share this journey with you. So make sure you're following along. But that's pretty much it. I love you guys so much. Thank you as always for supporting my channel. It means the world to me. Don't forget to click thumbs up and hit the subscribe, please. Send it to your friends to subscribe. Like, I just want the plaque, besties. I want the plaque so bad, and I'm like right there. All right, that's it for this video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in next week's video.